Okay, guys. So we have looked at point slope pretty extensively. Um, we've gone from just having a point and a slope to inputting it into the equation, and even going as far as to algebraically finish the equation by distributing and then using inverse operations to transform it into our slope intercept form. Okay, so we're going to stay in Unit 4 today, be there for a couple more days. And today we're going to be looking at taking a pretty close look at standard. Okay, standard form. All right, so recall there are three forms, three basic ones, right? We have slope intercept. That's the preferred form. Slope intercept, and that is y equals mx plus b. Okay, then we had point slope, which was the y minus y1 equals m and then x minus x1. Okay, kind of a combination again of slope intercept and our slope formula. And then we had standard. Okay, and standard does have its uses. Standard form really does play a lot into systems of equations, which we will do in, I believe, next unit. But for right now, right, we're just focused on the form of it, not really the function. Okay, so ax plus by equals c. All right, and so what we have to realize about standard form is there's these three parts here, right? A, B, and C. And these are numbers, okay? These are all numbers. And C, more importantly, is a constant, okay? So it is a number by itself. It's not, these are coefficients. That's how they build up. So we've got constants and coefficients. Again, C is a number by itself. A and B are just kind of results. All right. And so the idea here is that we should already be familiar with how to change standard into slope intercept. Okay. What we want to do is be able to go from slope intercept or point slope back to standard. Okay, so we've got to kind of be able to work any which way we need to and manipulate these equations, right? So we're going to go point slope to slope intercept to standard. Okay, we're just going to kind of transition between the three with one equation. All right. So we've got example number one. And in example number one, okay, we're going to have 0.9, -4 with a slope of -2/3. Okay, so again, start with point slope. We're given a point, we're given slope. Let's start with point slope, start to simplify from there, and then transition from one to the other. All right, so y minus, all right, this is our x1, y1, if you'll remember. Y minus a -4 equals -2/3 times x minus 9. Right, so we have y plus 4 equals -2/3 x, and then that's going to be a plus 6. Right, so 9 divided by 3 is 3, times 2 is 6. All right, so far we're getting pretty close, and then we just need to move that 4 over through the inverse operations, keeping like terms together. So -2/3 x plus 2. All right, and so that we have point slope. We have slope intercept. Now we just need to get it over to a standard form. And so our standard form is going to come from keeping the coefficient, keeping the constant on the right side here. So this 2 needs to stay on the right. The x is what needs to move to the other side. And so we're going to move that negative 2/3 x over. All right, so we're going to go plus 2/3 x. We don't need to really think too much about that. It's just that it's going to move it over here as a plus 2/3 x, right? So what we end up with is 2/3 x plus y equals 2, right? Because those two cancel each other out. So right now we're close, okay? The problem is that A, B, and C in standard form are whole numbers. So they're all numbers, but they're all A, B, and C are whole values. Okay. So when we look at this one, right, if we have, right, a coefficient on x or y that is a fraction, we need to get rid of that, all right? And so we have to recall kind of equality rules from back in Unit 1, and that we can actually change the entire equation by a certain factor. We can double every number and it still stays the same equation, okay? So we never change the value. So our little thought bubble here, right, would be that x plus y equals 1, right? If we double that, would be 2x plus 2y equals 2, right? If we double that, 4x plus 4y equals 4, right? Those all have the same x and y value. It's always going to solve the same. So we can increase or decrease, right, by a certain factor. So if I'm times 2 times 2, that's okay. I can make this as big or as small as I need to. In this case, right, I want to get rid of this denominator here. I want to get rid of, right, whatever fraction is causing, right, not to have a whole value. So what I'm essentially going to do is multiply this entire equation by a factor of 3. Okay, and I chose the 3. Chose 3 because denominator. Okay, I chose that 3 because it is the denominator of the fraction I'm trying to get rid of. Okay, so again, in another little thought bubble over here, we've got 3 times 2/3, right? So 3 times 2 divided by 3. Okay, so 3 times 2 is 6, divided by 3 is 2. So you can see that basically, if I choose that denominator, it cancels itself out. Okay, so 3 times this, and times this, right? So all the way across, I'm going to increase by a factor of 3, which is going to give me 3x, or 2x, I'm sorry, 2x plus 3y equals 6. Okay. And so this would be our standard form. Right. So carrying it all the way through, all right, from point slope to slope intercept down to standard form. So regardless of what they have their answer choices in, we can match what we need to what they might give us. So I'm going to look at just a couple more examples and make sure that we've got this down and everything's working out. So let's see. Let's find a decent example that's going to give us a fun value here. So let's go example number 2. right? And I'm going to give you -3, -8, and 2, 7. All right, so those are our 2 points. Again, we want to kind of follow the process of point slope, slope intercept, standard. Okay. Well, we can't enter point slope until we've got our slope. So we're going to have to start there. That's going to have to be kind of a side job for us. So x1, y1, x2, y2. If I remember correct, we probably used these points in the past, and that's fine. That's going to be 7 minus -8 over 2 minus -3. Matter of fact, I know we've used these in the past because that is 15 over 5, which is a slope of 3. Okay, so we know our slope now. We can go ahead and enter into point slope. So point slope, we can use either point. I'm going to choose this point here just because it's got the positive numbers. It keeps me from having to write all the parentheses. So y minus 7 equals 3 times x minus 2. All right, so we can start to simplify here, and nothing to do on the left side. On the right side, we're going to distribute. So there we have that. Going to go ahead and add that 7 to the other side. So I get 3x plus 1. So we've gone point slope to slope intercept. And then all we have to do is move the x to the other side, and we will be into standard form, right? And so I can't take 3x from y. They're not like terms. Those cancel out. I have -3x plus y equals 1, right? And so there's our standard form. All right, so I'm going to give you one more set just so that we can see how you're going to do. That's going to be your video quiz for today. It's just answering this final example so we can make sure we've all got it. So you're going to match up the 3 different results. So I'm going to be looking for standard into, or point slope, slope intercept, and standard form. So I'm going to need those 3 forms from you from this example. All right. So example number 3, we're going to give you 2 points so that you got a little bit extra work to do before you can just get started on converting things. All right. So there's your 2 points, 1, 3, and -3, -5. Again, going to be looking for all 3. Okay, and when you use your point slope, just so that you can match me and get your 100 on your video quiz, go ahead and use this point when you get to point slope. Okay, use that 1, 3 point. That way yours will match mine, and it won't be too difficult or have to go back or you message me. All right, so use those 2 points. Follow the steps in the process, come up with those 3 forms of the same linear equation: point slope, slope intercept, and standard. If you have any questions or problems, just message me so I can get back with you. If not, have a good day. Thanks, guys.